Four, three, two.
Maybe start from 5 again.
Right, we believe we have sound.
We'll see if we get confirmation.
Yeah, see if we can get
Sign
confirmation.
language.
So we're sorry about that. That was a slight technical hitch. So you can see we're up to our usual standard, but it's good for a laugh. So,
Should we wait until we get sound? Yeah,
No,
captions. Good idea. We got sound.
we got sound.
Piece of
Yay,
cake.
we're
what
back
are we worried
on.
about?
So what we? Oh, I was just
What's
about
on
to.
your head?
I was just wiping myself out with my new swag hat. So this is, if you've seen the video we released earlier this morning, we did a bit of a burst on the CPG locally produced tails and donuts. So the tails are the gold ones and the donuts are the silver ones.
I think this could be a collector's item.
The hat or
Yeah. The hat, the whole shooting match. If you sign that,
Yeah, okay, you reckon we try and sell it through the shop?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure our insurance would cover it because someone's going to lose an eye, I can tell you. So, yeah, look, as I said, we did a bit of a burst on the old tail, so we're pretty excited. CPG's produced these gold tails for us. If you haven't seen the video on it, I'd strongly suggest you give yourself a chance to. So they've done the gold ones, which is great, but they've also made these fantastic, and I'll just grab one from here.
I'm just playing the video now.
Oh, you're playing it? Oh, even better. So I'm just talking over it.
Close,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So they're making the silver one as well. Now the silver one's not 37.5 grams. It's actually 1 ounce, which is 31.1 grams. But yeah, they are something else. They've come up an absolute treat. So you'll see them on our website. Having said that, they are selling really, really fast. We released them about an hour, I think, before the live stream. And I think we've almost sold out of the first batch. So Richard, if you're watching this from CPG, get your skates on, mate. I need the other half of those donuts made because we're going to need them Monday or Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So hey, this is, as far as I'm aware, that's a first, right?
I don't
have
know.
they been through before?
Yeah, no, they've never. I don't know anyone else that's making them, and I've got to say, I think they look fantastic. They've got the little Australia character on there, and they've come up an absolute treat.
Yeah, very nice take on it.
Yeah. Tell me, do you know where the term tail came from?
Southeast Asia, I want to say.
Portugal.
Portugal, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Seriously.
that.
So
The more you know.
Yeah,
go on.
Because Portugal's got a pretty big influence on a lot of Southeast Asia, like Macau and places like that.
Yeah.
So this unit of measure became known as a tael, which is 37.5 grams of gold.
Yep.
I'm going to butcher it because my Mandarin and Cantonese and Hongkonese is terrible. As anyone that was around the Hong Kong airport when I used to fly in, fly out, do the month on, month off out of there.
What it used to be.
It was atrocious. But the symbol for tail in Mandarin is actually produced Lyon, which is where they got the long from.
Well, there you go.
So there you go. Long way round to tell you what 37.5 grams of gold is. That's right. Hadn't thought of that.
Someone reckons we should be selling them in tubes like lifesavers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried about that in case someone actually tried to swallow one and we got into trouble for it. The other idea we had was a spike. And
Yeah,
Matt
like
and
a
I-
receipt spike, but obviously there's a risk component to that as well.
But they are, in all seriousness, they're really good on necklaces because they become jewellery at that point. So
Yeah.
good for walking in and out of some airports and countries because it's not considered bullion, it's considered jewellery. So that can be a plus. And it looks really cool walking around town with
Oh,
your...
yeah, or if you put it on your hat, you got options.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was wondering, with the silver, it doesn't have an official name. Perhaps that is a term that could be coined by our viewers.
Yeah.
Like an
that's a good
unofficial name or something that we can refer to them by. Donuts is fine, but if someone has a clever suggestion or idea,
idea. We could call it a dolt.
that's Dolt is the score to beat. Consider the benchmark set fairly low.
I thought that was quite clever. There we go. Oh, dear. Yeah, so...
I've got an update for you regarding John Wayne.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
You found out who he is?
I did. So I looked into the film True Grit.
Yep.
I couldn't watch it. I browsed a few choice clips on YouTube. It's pretty cool. I actually was quite impressed.
Yeah.
Like it's from what I saw, it's aged fairly well. There was some really good banter, like some good exchanges.
Yeah.
I saw a scene where, for anyone that's familiar with the film, they're going to a shack to confront two cowboys of sorts.
Is this the fingers?
Oh yeah, but that scene. So when he puts his jacket over the chimney and he goes in there and they're having a back and forth, and he said, "Have you seen the guy with the funny bottom lip?" And he says, "Yeah, what happened?" He said, "I shot him there." And he said, "What were you aiming for?" And he said, "His top lip." It was good bit of back and forth.
No, he's done some incredible films. Flying Leathernecks is another one that you could watch. So for those that are wondering why the heck we're on the John Wayne story, Perth Mint released this month a John Wayne commemorative coin, and we had it on the channel Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime this week, and I was quite horrified that Matt really didn't have any clue who John Wayne was. Although I have to admit my slip up, I hadn't realised he was dead, and apparently he died in '79. So I'm well out of date on that
Yeah,
one.
fun fact about that, 10 years to the day of the release of that film.
Oh, really?
The 11th of June, 1969, that film came out. 10 years later, he passed away.
There you go.
And that was his one and only Oscar win, was that film.
Really?
Yep.
Geez, you come up with some...
Yeah, I get weirdly I get it. I got into it. It was a good little, adventure. And also, Glenn Campbell, who was his co-star in that film, did the theme song, and he got it was an Oscar or some sort of award for that. But originally, the director wanted to cast Elvis, but that didn't come to a head because he wanted equal billing with John Wayne, and they said, "No, not going to happen."
Oh, good on him.
Yeah. So there you go. Fun fact. It's very interesting.
Should read a few of the suggestions coming through for the name of the silver donuts.
Oh, a sail. Genius.
What about a Coit set? I did think about calling it a Coit. But I think Russell Coit shot that in the foot for us. So only an Australian would actually know what I was referring to on that one. And it's possibly just as well.
I got a set of Coits at Bonnie Doon. As you would, are you surprised?
Not even slightly surprised. Oh, dear. What else have we got? A bale? The Homer? A bagel. That's not a bad one.
That's a good idea.
Bagel. There's a few good ones there. We should probably start answering some questions, shouldn't we? Rather than drifting off into the afternoon.
Yep.
So there's a lot of the regulars and a few of the newcomers coming in. Sorry about the sound issue there right at the start, but we got that sorted out. Most expensive swag hat in the world. It possibly is, I suppose. Well, we got 3 ounces of gold on there. So it's probably a $7,500 to $10,000 swag hat.
I'm telling you, there's going to be offers coming in through the emails.
Well, we got one, 30 USD for it. I think we might
Do
want...
I hear 35?
Well, the bit of green cost me $10. Michael, have we all got the donuts? Why cost more off the fly hat? I'm not sure what Dark Hats means by that one. That's okay. Can I buy the hat? Look, do you want to make an offer on it? We'll sell the hat.
Yeah.
No worries at all. So a few g'days there. This one is a good one from Blobs, and I'm not sure, he might have actually sent, he or she, might have sent this through on the email as well, because I kind of half recognise it. How far in advance do you know about upcoming bullion releases from Perth, and what's the next exciting one you know of?
Good question. I often find out about things when the delivery driver brings it into the store and we do an unboxing.
Which just lately has been about a week after we've released them.
Yeah, which sounds like, you know, I'm spinning people a line when they come into the shop and they say, oh, you know, surely, come on, give us some insider knowledge. But there's often so much happening in a normal day that we don't really have time to sort of sit around and check out what's up and coming. But unless it's something major like the lunar cycle coming up, which we know about well in advance, I don't know, maybe you get some inside scoops from time to time.
You're right. Some of them we do. So the Luna, the Kookaburra, the Koala, the Kangaroo, all of those are pretty much fixed into the annual schedule. There's a little bit of jockeying as we get closer of, you know, is it released on, you know, August the 10th or August the 15th type of situation. But pretty much they're pretty standard ones throughout the year. But I have to admit, quite often, particularly with the Perth Mint private mintages that we get access to, it can quite often be an email of we're releasing this on like on Thursday. We'll get an email saying we're releasing this Monday. You know, would you like them type of situation. So, you know, it's not the first time. It's been hours or days' notice, and we're scrambling around trying to do a release for it or something along those sort of lines. So. It depends, particularly with the Perth Mint. It seems to be a little bit, I don't want to say hit and miss because that sounds disrespectful, but effectively it's a little bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
RAM seems to be a lot more organised with their release dates.
Yeah.
And
well, as we've learned, they're very, very structured, very intense on the dates and whatnot over there. So, good stuff.
So,
Andrew Rowlands has asked, do you know when we're getting the 2022 Gold Rectangle Dragon? I've had a few people asking that lately.
Yeah, and that actually goes back to the second half of Blobs, which is what's the next exciting one. As far as I'm aware, the next exciting one is the Rectangular Dragon, and it should be released somewhere at the start of March, assuming that Perth Mint's following a normal cycle.
Wow, okay. So, we haven't seen images or anything like
that? Not officially, no.
Oh, okay.
So,
CPG's in the chat.
Hey!
Welcome.
The balance of your donut order is just about ready.
Thank goodness for that, because we had 250 here, and just before that we came onto the live stream, I noticed that 222 of them had already sold. So I was starting to get a little panicky. So thanks, Richard. You're a legend. Definitely needed that order.
We've got Joe in general asking, what is the mintage for the 5-ounce ox? Asking all the questions he loves to see when hosting the show.
Is Matt the new Bert Newton to Michael's Don Lane?
Don't know who Don Lane is. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Should I see myself out? I know Bert.
We'll start calling you Moonface.
Sure. Do whatever you want.
I was expecting a bit more of a reaction than that, mate. That's a bit disappointing. I don't think so. Yeah. Will you do specials again this year? Absolutely, we will. We tried to do one for today's live stream, but that didn't come off at the last minute. So we'll probably see our watches now. The numbers will fall off. But yeah, sorry about that. There's no live stream this week, but there's no special on the live stream this week, but there will be one next week. We're expecting. If they were the same weight as the gold ones, it would be nice. We're talking about, I'm assuming this is from Legbad. You're right, it would have been nicer if we could have had the 37.5 on both. However, the 37.5, because gold is much more dense than silver, it looked, I call it bloated in a description that I used before with someone. It looked kind of bloated because the hole had to be so much smaller to fit into the dies and that sort of stuff. It didn't look right, whereas 1 ounce, it looked right, and that's why we went with the 1 ounce. So, yeah. So that's why you've got that one at a slightly different size. Blobs is asking, are we friends with all the other bullion dealers in the building?
I'm friendly with everyone.
Friendly type of guy.
Yeah, there's a couple that I would say we're friends with.
Yeah.
There's no enemies. Put it that way.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a funny industry. We all tend to, mostly, I mean, there's always hits and misses here and there, but mostly we all get on pretty well together.
Yeah.
We help each other. We sell back to each other at different times. Like
Yeah.
if we're long and someone else is short metal, we might, swap over positions sort of thing.
Yeah.
Help them along, help us along. So there's quite a bit of that goes along.
I'd say everyone coexists harmoniously. There's
Yeah.
no, it's not a case of there's, buttons on the elevator that you steer clear of at all costs kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're all in business, but,
Yeah.
there's no reason to be cranky about it. So
The
Yeah.
bagels are sold out.
the bagels have
The
sold
bagels.
out. We're going to call them bagels.
Yeah, we have to bake up some more.
Yeah, I'm not. I like bagels, but thinking about it more and more, it really is a bit of an American term, isn't it? So
There was a comment referring to that, so I don't know.
yeah.
We'll keep going. Any suggestions?
Yeah.
The door is open.
How about we have a couple of emails?
We've got a few this week.
We do. So this one's from Brett. First, I'd like to thank Joe for his entertainment that has provided the viewers over time, but also his professionalism and knowledge. All the best with your direction you are taking. For those who might only be watching for the first time, Joe left us last week. Last week was his last live stream.
Is that Joe's
He's
email
moved on.
address in the from section there?
He's missing this week, and will be for the next several weeks, I suggest. But we wish him all the best, as we did last week. Secondly, I'd like to praise Brett. There you go. So I finally got into town to collect some coins. So this wasn't the one I was thinking of. I came in second day we opened for the new year to collect around 10 different coins from your shop that you'd had on hold for me. I entered the door with my daughter, excellent, who I'm trying to get interested in bullion. Brett was very welcome and apologetic for the wait. Yeah, sometimes the wait can get there.
Yeah.
He then retrieved all the coins, which is good. Explained to him that trying to introduce my daughter into bullion, and asked if my daughter could hold a 1 kilo bar of gold, which Brett graciously received and allowed to hold.
Nice.
What do you think to holding a kilo bar of gold?
It never gets old.
No,
it is.
doesn't.
It is really, really cool. And the other day when Ruben and I were in the store, someone asked if we had anything cool, and I said, "Oh, well, here's the new 2022 gold kilo kangaroo."
Yeah.
No, spinning out. It's
Yeah.
just so. When people expect to see, a 1 ounce gold or something, you pull out a kilo. It's it's good fun. Always
Yeah.
good for a laugh.
So we don't do it all the time, but sometimes, particularly when we're trying to encourage kids and things like that, we've been known to drag out the old kilo bar or coin and in gold. And it's funny. I mean, we handle them every day, and you can still tell when one of the guys has picked it up because a big smile on the face. And,
The most common feedback when someone holds a kilo of gold is, "It's so heavy."
Yeah,
So it's about a kilo.
that's right.
But it is deceptively dense.
Yeah.
You don't expect something of that size to have that kind of weight behind it, but yeah, it's good fun.
Which you see that, or we hear that quite often. Like people will come in and pick up 20 kilos of silver, and they'll bring in a small backpack or a handbag or something like that, and they'll put it in there, and you can see what's coming. And they go, "Oh, that's heavy," and you go, "Well, it weighs about 20 kilos."
Yeah.
You'd be a bit concerned if it didn't. But it's a bit of a shock for people because it's packed into a fairly small area. So
Particularly, and I can say that with first-hand experience, if you have a ways to travel, and in terms of walking, always maybe pick it up, place a few orders and don't pick them all up at once, because halfway on that walk home, on a warm day, because you chuck your bag on and you think, yeah, this is fine, I can barely manage with this. But then, after a kilometre of walking, it all starts to get a bit real.
Yeah, it does. So.
Builds character though.
Yes, that's the one. All right, what else have we got on these questions?
There's a lot saying that we need to just do a sit down with Matt and just educate him on everything, everything that he, whether it's Star Wars or
You probably too. The problem is that you two are probably fairly similar. You'd be a little bit older than Rubes, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm probably 2 generations behind you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, or in front of you, I suppose, depends on how you look at it. So, I grew up on things like the original Star Wars and the John Wayne and that sort of stuff. So it was the thing to know about. So I'm often quite shocked when you guys don't know that. But in reality,
we started bringing up the equivalent of the modern day, and everyone flamed him the other week.
24
hours.
I found particularly watching clips from that True Grit film, I feel like Ruben, like our generation, we have things. It's similarly significant, but it's different. So when I was watching that film, I thought this reminds me so much of the landscape and dynamics in a video game called Red Dead Redemption, which is like an old Western theme. And there were so many parts, just the landscape, the way the characters interacted, and I thought, they've definitely used that as inspiration for the game. And I really, really loved the game. And I was going to send you a picture, Ruben, so you could put it up. Someone recreated John Wayne in the game, and it looks like for like. It's almost exactly the same. And I thought, that's sort of, we have similar but different things.
Similar tropes and cliches that carry through.
Exactly. And it's interesting to see things like that, going back and looking at clips from that film, I thought, this feels oddly familiar, despite the fact I've never seen it, but those kind of things go from generation to generation, but change slightly. So, it's good fun.
I'm not trying to be a smart aleck here.
Here we go.
Do you actually know what, if I start saying VHS and beta tapes are?
Yeah.
Beta?
I had a film on Laserdisc once, called Mallrats, a Kevin Smith film.
You know what a tape is, a normal tape?
We discussed this, and
you talked about it.
I had a Venga Boys tape.
Yeah, okay.
In my prime.
You know what an 8-track is?
I know of it.
Okay.
That was a recording device, wasn't it?
Well, the 8-track was like the whole internet that's my age and older is going to go, that's a load of rubbish. But effectively, it was like 8 tape decks in one.
Because
I
want to say, and I only know it by having heard other people speak about it, I feel like Dave Grohl recorded the Foo Fighters early demos on an 8-track. I want to say, because he said something like it was a very rudimentary setup, and I want to say that he just said he did it all on an 8-track, so one instrument per track. I don't know. I may stand corrected.
Your tape was about the size of a VHS tape.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that gives you some concept.
Yeah.
What about... We're well off topic now. I apologise for that.
I'm going to pull Bullion out of the title.
That's right. It's just general crap from us. Computer discs. Do you remember?
I remember floppy disks.
Yeah. What sizes do you remember?
The square ones, about yay.
Yeah. So
with the little metallic bit that you could slide around. And
yeah,
the little
they were only about that big.
Yeah.
I remember when they were about yay. I can't remember the size now, but they were about yay big. The original ones that we used to have. Yeah, they were about the size of a folder. They were huge. Anyway, we're going to get back on topic now.
How much things have developed over the years.
Someone's asking, a kilo gold coin or bar? I love the look of the Nugget series coin. However, the ease of selling would be, would it be easier with the kilo bar?
No, look. Do you want to take this one?
Because you can actually touch the gold on the bar. That's the other advantage.
Yeah. It's a doozy. I love coins. This is no secret. When you say ease of sale, though, if your objective is to just have it purely for putting your money into gold for the sake of owning gold, I would suggest a bar. If you have any interest in limited mintages, things that take on a bit of a collectible significance, then I would say lean towards the coins. The sale process can be a little more convoluted with a coin if you're looking to extract a premium from it, but it certainly can be done. It's not an impossibility, but there are generally more steps involved than if you just bring a bar in and we test it and away you go. What's your take?
Yeah, I disagree slightly. I agree with your fundamentals, but I would actually, the kilo coin in gold is probably the one time where I would go, absolutely, I'd go the kilo coin every time. Yeah, I'm a coin guy, so there's a little bit of bias
Well,
here.
see, I'm trying to take my coin hat off,
Yeah,
where I
but-
just blindly say coin no matter what.
But the thing is that the price difference between a kilo bar and a kilo coin is very little.
It is negligible, yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, if you ended up selling it back to a bullion dealer, you're not going to lose much more by going the coin than you are the bar, really.
You've convinced me, Michael.
But the coin, it's more of a talking piece. It's more of a wow factor, and you get more pleasure. I would get more pleasure out of it. And also, you have that possibility of actually extracting that extra premium out of it. So you remember last year when we had the kilo infused wedgetail eagle.
Yeah, yep.
It's a good example. It's a bad example. It's a bad example because it was actually quite a bit more premium than a standard bar was, because it was a proof coin.
Yep.
But it's that type of thing where they generate a collector's premium in them. So you may find, I'd be selective in this. I wouldn't buy just any kilo coin. But like the Kilo Tiger, when it eventually comes out, that's the sort of thing where I'd go, it's not going to be much more than a kilo bar. Yep. If I'm in the market for a kilo of gold, I would probably lean towards the Kilo Tiger.
Yeah.
Because it does have that potential of being that collector's item.
This is true. Yeah, look, it didn't take much to convince me. I was trying to not, push my coin agenda, but look, you're not wrong. I do agree with everything you've said there.
Yeah. So I think the kilo coin in gold is the one time where I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different when we're talking, kilo of silver, the smaller coins, that type of stuff. But I reckon that's at the point where we do.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, this is one for you, mate. I've been stacking for 12 months. This is from Mitch. Been stacking for 12 months, and I'm also looking to get into numismatics. Are there any good magazines you can recommend subscriptions to? All I can find is the Coin and Banknote magazine. Do you recommend this? Is there anything for gold and silver stacking?
I'm going to throw back to very early Bullion Now. I watched some of our old channel videos, and you were talking about you had a stack of magazines that were relating to stacking.
They're out of print.
Well, maybe there's an opportunity for Bullion Now to start putting out a newsletter.
I was about to agree with you right up until the point where you said Bullion Now. Look,
Someone else.
No, look, I think there is a market for it.
Yeah.
I really do. But it ran for a couple of issues. Don't quote me on the exact number.
Yeah.
And had some really good articles in it, but the guys behind it stopped it at that point for whatever reason, I don't know. But
Okay.
so from a stacking side, as far as I'm aware, there is nothing out there. But from a numismatic side, there is a number of magazines out there.
There are, and there are a couple that are, well, like worldwide. There are a few. There's another journal in New Zealand. But I think the CAB is great, and there are a lot of really, really great articles in
CAB
there.
being the Coin and Banknote.
Yeah, sorry, the
magazine.
Coin and Banknote magazine. You would generally see that at news agencies and places like that. I've found a number of. It sounds. I'll just say it. I've found a number of the articles to be a little dry and academic in nature, and I struggle reading that kind of content. It instantly makes me feel like I'm reading a textbook in school again, and I struggle with that really dry, matter-of-fact writing style. I like things that are a little bit more animated, I guess. Yeah. Sort of like the way we have our banter. It's a bit more accessible, I think. So the cab is great. A lot of great images, and they're always up to speed with the new releases and things like that. But
there used to be, I can't remember its name. There used to be one out of the UK that was pretty good as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, the Coin and Banknote magazine was a merge. There were two publications that merged and are now under that umbrella.
Okay.
I've forgotten the name of the other one, but yeah,
good
it's
stuff.
good stuff. Yeah, and generally I'm just perusing YouTube videos and things like that, and just read articles here and there. So I feel like the internet is a great resource for all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say a similar thing actually. I buy the cab occasionally. I mean, it only comes out I think every second month anyway, doesn't it?
It's monthly.
Oh, it is monthly, is it?
Yeah, it should be monthly. Yeah.
So I buy it, every so often I might pick one up, and I like it for a flick through. But I've got to say,
what I do, same with being in the coin shop. I'd flick through it, but I wouldn't. I don't think I've ever in my life done cover to cover a whole cab.
So, but it's Yeah, I actually find the internet for most of my stuff. Yeah.
CAD for me is often a good starting point. If I'm having a flick through and a subject grabs my attention,
Yeah.
then I'll go down the rabbit hole and research more and try and get my head around it. But yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah. So this one's from, I'm reading off your screen because I want to grab it. Plumer, oh no, I've butchered this, haven't I? Almanac. Could you bring in New Zealand mint coins? The short answer is yes, we can. The slightly longer answer is it's difficult, mainly because New Zealand Mint isn't actually a mint. They're a business and they subcontract out their mintage to some of the manufacturers in the States. So it makes it a little complicated to bring them in sometimes. So that's one reason. The other reason is ever since the release they did, was it last year or the year before, of the Kilo Death Star, Ruben won't let us bring them in. He's got a thing about it, and he doesn't want us to have anything to do with them anymore.
I don't even think he's watched all the Star Wars films.
I have tested Michael 5 times today to get that coin in.
It is an impressive coin. It's a 1 kilo. It's spherical. 1 kilo silver coin of a Death Star. Very limited numbers. They made 299 of them, and they are fantastic. But yeah, like I said, Ruben was dead against it, so we didn't get them. What else have we got, mate?
The Ethan Yarka. When we come into the shop, can we ask for new products even if they are announced yet? Maybe even if they aren't announced yet, but you have them in store.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as there's no embargo issues on them, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. It sounds a little bit terrible, but quite more often than I'd like, product turns up here and we are so busy in the store that we don't have time to do a video release. Like the 2022 Philharmonics have arrived, and we haven't done. We've actually shot the video, but we haven't released it. We haven't managed to release them yet. So they're here. You can buy them across the counter, but I don't think we've made it active on the web, and we haven't released the video. So embarrassingly, sometimes we fall behind on those sorts of things. So yeah, absolutely. If you can see them, I can see Ruben's just put up a
I tried to vote
a poll. On the Death Star. But yeah, so if you can see them there, or you think we might have them, absolutely ask. And if we've got them, you're more than welcome to purchase them at the time. So yeah,
it's an overwhelming yes, Michael.
I get magazines.
You've got to let it run for more than one person voting, mate. Particularly when that person was you. Here we go. Okay, this one's from Mark. As one of your newer customers, I'm interested to know a little more about your buyback process and what guarantee you provide purchasers regarding the quality, authenticity of what I'm buying. Okay, so this is not selling back to us, this is buying.
Yep.
Right.
A couple of people complaining about the audio. If you're just able to quickly check your packs and make sure they're all plugged in, all right? Yeah, if you're sitting
Well,
on
that's probably me. It was in my pocket, so.
Put one at the front.
Okay, I'm sure some of the customers you buy from are also the same customers you sell to, but there must be some clients who haven't dealt with you before. Do you check each and every coin, bar or object that comes in with the XRF? What about coins or rounds in sealed tubes like the Canadian Maples I recently purchased? If I ever purchase a buyback likely produced item or some unrecognised coin, bar, round from overseas, do you provide any certificate or comment on the invoice verifying what the item is? The short answer on this one is yes and no. We test everything that's sold to us as a buyback is tested as it comes through. No, we don't test, like if a Perth Mint delivery comes in of 5,000 individual coins, we don't pull out every coin. However, we do randomly sample Perth Mint coins or bars that come through, or any of the other refineries, but absolutely anything that we buy back secondhand is absolutely tested without fail. Now, the sealed tubes one is a great question. Sometimes we open the tubes if we're a little sus. Sometimes we don't open the tubes because a lot of people don't want to buy them from us in unsealed tubes. They'd far rather buy them in sealed tubes. So we don't tend to open them. But what we do is we actually test them through the plastic tube, and we can tell from there whether there's any inconsistencies or anything along those lines. And obviously, if there's an inconsistency, we'd immediately be opening it and further investigation. we are more than happy to test. If you're buying something and you wish to have it tested, we are more than happy to test it in front of you. So if you're just curious, or if you're a little bit, I'm trying to say paranoid politely, but you're a bit, I don't want to go home and try and explain to the other half, whether it actually is or how I know it is or it isn't. At least if I say, they tested it there in the store in front of me, I can go home and put my hand on my heart and say, yeah, it's absolutely, it's a kilo of gold or whatever.
Yep.
We are more than happy to test them. We're actually happy to test your stuff if you want to bring it in from home, but obviously you've got to remember we're running a business. So if we've got a queue out the door, absolutely you're going to have to wait before we get round to test it. But if we've got time, if you want to bring something in from home, and no, I'm not suggesting you bring in the wheelbarrow of all sorts of gear and we're going to test it all, but if you want to bring in a few items, we're happy to test those as well.
I'd be happy to have a look. If you bring in a whole wheelbarrow, that would be a fascinating sight.
Oh, jeez.
Challenge has been put out there.
No, please don't come with a wheelbarrow just to amuse Matt.
On the day I'm working from home, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to come in with 1/10 and expect you to test everyone. As far as certificates go, we don't provide a certificate. We don't have the time nor the inclination to provide those sort of certificates. Having said that, you'll find on the vast majority of our invoices, the description will usually say, 9999, 1 ounce of gold buyback, that type of thing. We're always willing, and I'm setting possibly a company policy here, we're always willing to actually type in the special notes, this is blah, blah, blah. And absolutely 150% Bullion Now will stand by. If we sell it, we stand by the fact that this is pure. Or if it's not pure, that we've actually stated it's a Krugerrand, which is 22 carat. So we've stated that, it's not pure. But absolutely, if we've tested it and we're selling it, you can bet your cotton socks that we are going to stand behind it and say, and it's not happened, but if it ever did happen that one slipped out that wasn't pure and it came back, absolutely, we'd fix the situation right there and then, because our reputation stands behind that.
Absolutely, and Ruben summed it up a few times in the store when people have asked if something comes with a certificate, as though that's the deciding factor as to whether or not they'll purchase a kilo of silver. Ruben's rightfully said, if I were faking a silver bar, the piece of paper is the easiest thing to
that's
fake.
right.
I can get a printer and I can get some nice paper, print it out, make up a signature to put on it, and cut it out, and away you go. So I'd much rather, if I was in store buying, I'd much rather see the XRF readout than a piece of paper.
Yeah, and look, put it in context. Even if we certainly haven't done this, but let's say we set out intentionally to sell 4 ounces of gold that we knew was fake. Okay, so that's $10,000. That is such a drop in the bucket to what we turn over in the year. There is no way on this earth that I would risk our reputation over $10,000. It's just, even a kilo of gold, it is not worth it in the grand scheme of things for me to even risk the possibility of that going out and our reputation, it would be killed overnight. We would be out of business the following day. So there is no reason why we would ever attempt to do anything along those sort of lines.
Yep.
Got a couple here, rapid fire ones with just things that people quickly want to know. Have the wedge tails arrived yet?
Oh,
just quickly.
no. Wednesday to Friday next week. They've just departed Perth.
Kilo Tiger.
Haven't heard, but I'm assuming they're on a similar delivery. So I'm hoping mid next week.
10-ounce Queen's Bees completed.
I was hoping you weren't going to see that one.
No worries.
You're not allowed to tell anyone. They've actually arrived. We haven't done the filming for it. We haven't had time. We haven't listed them on the web. Don't come into the store for them. Don't phone. Don't email. They will be released next week.
Keep an eye out. Does Little Coin shop worldwide is the question. I'm not sure if that's ship worldwide.
Yes, we ship worldwide.
Fantastic.
They ship worldwide. Same as us.
And Oddjob's asking if we had the Queen's Beast burning completer. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's one of those modded.
Yeah, with rhodium plating or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they've done a rhodium one.
I'm making it up.
Yeah, that'd look fantastic. I haven't even seen it. I don't know what we're talking about. So
It is, looking at it, it is kind of similar, akin to those rhodium
cool.
kind of...
oh, you've got it up on the.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic! You have to have a look at that
put it
later.
up on the stream.
No, that's okay. Alrighty, so this one's greetings from Spain.
Wow.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on the great content knowledge you put on the YouTube. That must be for you. Last few weeks I've learned a lot from YouTube channel and about investing in gold. I would like to ask for your wise advice. Again, must be referring to you. I want to start investing in gold and stacking it. First, I thought about buying a 1 ounce or 20 gram gold bar, but suddenly I discovered that Spain had just started to create its own 1 ounce bullion coin. Rubes, I actually shot you a picture of this. Could you flick that up? It's a limited edition of only 12,000 in the world. Do you recommend me buying a 1 ounce gold bar or buy a 1 ounce gold coin limited edition? And it's a first edition as well, as I believe the value of this coin is going to increase when the collectors start to want it. I've searched for this Spanish coin. Most of the bullion online shops have it, and then they're selling out relatively quickly. By the way, have you heard about this Spanish bullion gold coin? Do you think the international collectors will want it?
Yes, it is a slam dunk. I absolutely love it. So that animal is a lynx, as I understand it.
Yes.
So that is the aspect of it that has received a little bit of negative feedback.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In what regard?
In the stacking community, just as like a design choice. Some people aren't wild on it. I'll admit, it doesn't set my world on fire.
I love it.
However, the other side is fantastic. I'm not sure if we have that image.
I sent you both.
Okay.
I didn't send you both. Oh, that was the stuff up
Ruben's
on my
hit
account.
the panic button.
So I actually thought I'd sent through both sides, and you're right. I actually like it. They're calling it a reverse. I don't think it is a proof, but I did send it through. Good. They're actually calling it a reverse proof, but I think what they're meaning is the same as we discussed last week or the week before, where it's just they've moved the mirror image from the background to the foreground, and I think that's what they're meaning because it's still described. I think the write-up I read it described it as a reverse proof bullion coin.
Ah, very interesting. I didn't actually read that, but the other side, which would I think technically be the obverse for this coin, is a sort of a reference. The image is featured previously on the old 8 reals coins from the mid and late 1700s, and that is a really historic image. Allegedly, are you getting it up, Ruben? Because if I start talking about it, I don't want to make it.
If we manage to get it up, you'll see it. Otherwise, Matt's going to describe
otherwise,
it.
I'll do my best to close your eyes and imagine this. So it has 2 pillars with a script running around them. Allegedly, that is the origins for the dollar symbol.
Oh, okay. Do you know what the 2 pillars are?
Yes, they were put there by Hercules, and they represented the gateway between the old and the new world.
That's right.
Hence the 2
hemispheres.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Very interesting.
You're a guru.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, and as soon as I saw that coin, I saw the links, and I thought, oh, okay, it's it could be, like one of those Cook Islands, Tuvalu type coins. But then seeing the other side, I was really taken by that. I think that's the headline of that coin. I think that's great.
I think it's a great coin. I think it's an absolute slam dunk, the same as Matt said.
Yeah.
Whether you like the links or not, I think it looks good. I disagree with Matt on this one. I think it looks great. But yeah, the fact that it's the first edition, Spain, as far as I'm aware, hasn't produced a bullion coin for like forever.
Yeah.
And it's limited to 12,000, mate. If you can get your sticky fingers on them, grab them. I think that's a great one to get.
I hope we get some now. Pumped them up now. We've set expectations. I think that's really good.
Yeah. All right, what else have we got?
Stop playing with your mic, Michael. Should have called him Mike. That would have been funny.
I didn't know I was touching it. Sorry, mate. Whoever.
I think maybe one of us is moving around excessively. It could be me. I don't know if there's an issue with the reception. I'll try and minimise
wire, maybe.
The coin's up.
Oh,
hey!
Okay,
Nice.
so we've got the obverse up now, and so you can see the pillars of Hercules there and the 2 hemispheres at their feet. It's also got reference to the current monarch of Spain around the outside.
Yeah.
Is it Philippe? I'll get it wrong, so I shouldn't try and butcher it.
Wait until we see the image, and then you'll be an expert on it.
Yeah, okay. I want to say it's Philippe the Sixth, but I think I've got his name wrong.
There you go. Spot on.
Philippe, it is.
Yep.
There you go. So I think it looks absolutely stunning. So 1 ons.
Yep. Nice onza.
Yeah. So grab it. If you can find it, grab it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Someone here is asking about the unallocated program for an overseas buyer.
Yeah.
You want to make a comment, or do you want me
Are
to?
you going to
launch
read
into
the
this one?
question, or is this just a general?
No, I'm actually just going to. It's quite a long question, and I think basically what he's asking is it a good option for an overseas buyer, particularly taking into account the fact that with overseas transactions, they have to pay a PayPal fee.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had this conversation on the phone with someone unrelated earlier today, and they said, "Well, what's the advantage and sort of what's the function of it?" And the biggest advantage, the two biggest advantages, particularly for an overseas customer, is firstly, you don't have to deal with freight. You don't need to get it sent over. And secondly, particularly if you're looking at accumulating large volumes, is you don't have to worry about storage.
Or insurance.
Storage, insurance, there are a number of benefits. And then, like I mentioned last week with an interstate customer asking a similar question, is if and when you decide to sell, you don't need to go through the whole process once again of, if you're selling back to us, shipping it back. There are so many of those hidden costs like the PayPal fees, shipping, insurance, storage, that you then just circumvent by using. Yeah, I think it's a really good setup.
I think it is. The problem I have, and this is something you haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything you've said. I'm just going to add to it. The problem we have with the overseas customers is the fact that it can be illegal for us to sell it into some countries. So
you should probably mention that. Yeah, that seems important.
So we are incredibly nervous about selling it to overseas customers. So as a rule, we say no. It is the ideal thing for overseas customers, but it depends on their local regulations and if we can sell into that market. So like the official rule is thou shalt not sell it to overseas customers. And by the look on your face, I probably should have told you that at least 12 months ago.
Fortunately, I haven't been doing that, but it's just been interstate. But I would have thought the same benefits apply. But, oh, well, there you go.
So,
very good to know.
Somebody made a comment, it's still on your screen. Does anyone call Michael Mike, or is it an instant death sentence? No, it's not. I get called Michael, Mike, Mick.
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel, Mickey. I haven't been called Mickey for a long time. I don't know, all sorts of things. Pepsi. I've been called that for a few years. That was high school. Look, I don't care.
Very casual.
Yeah, very casual. John S. We bought our first silver purchase with you guys from the buyback program with Australian Wedgetail Eagle. Do you reckon platinum is a good stack or stick to silver?
Geez, that's a layup for you.
Yeah.
What's your answer to that?
I love platinum. I think platinum's, I got to admit a bias here. I think platinum is the way to go. For every argument you can carry for silver, you can more carry it for platinum. Through from the difficulty to, it's far more difficult to mine and source, through to the fact that it's had an overhang for quite a while because of other reasons we won't go into now, but a lot was dumped onto the market, which drove the price down artificially. And we're now seeing that overhang clear and it's starting to drive back up in price. So I'm a big platinum buff. One of the other big things I love about platinum is it's far easier to store than silver is because it's far smaller for a similar dollar amount. Yeah. So, particularly someone that's looking at buying $100,000 worth of silver, consider some platinum in there because it's far easier.
Would you be shocked if the price of platinum overtook gold?
Not at all. I fully expect it to. Because traditionally it used to be,
Yeah.
we say it used to be 1-to-1 with gold. It actually used to be just a little bit more than gold. It was always on the upper side of gold.
I always say that in like all membership programs, platinum is a step above gold. So it is interesting to see where it sits now in the scheme of things.
Yeah. So I have no problem with recommending platinum. The negatives of platinum is it's a much smaller niche market, so it can be harder to get out of, and also harder to get into. But also you pay much higher premiums because it's a difficult metal to work with.
Yep.
So whereas you might pay, and I'm making up numbers here, don't hold me to it, but whereas you might pay for gold, you might be paying $60, $70, $80 an ounce over spot for a bar. with platinum, you're looking at more like $150 to $200 an ounce over spot for a bar. That Australian dollars. So, that premium is a lot higher, and that's the negative side of platinum.
I'd like to speak to the mint about that and ask because when we say it's a harder metal to work with, obviously it's like physically it's a tougher metal, and
It doesn't flow.
are the dyes set to a higher pressure? Is there different tooling involved?
I actually don't know that side of it, whether they're set to higher pressures and that. But I know that it's harder to work with in that they have to start. Like I said, it doesn't flow. You melt silver and gold. You can pour it out.
Yep.
Platinum doesn't just pour cleanly like gold and silver do.
Yeah.
They have to add things to it to get it to pour. And obviously, when you add something to it, it's no longer pure platinum.
Yep.
So it's difficult to work with the whole way along.
So is that why we see 995? Is there just a little hint, or is it just because it's such a difficult metal to refine?
Yeah, it's a difficult metal to refine, and also the fact that a lot of that is hangovers. They don't tend to change it. If we XRF, you'll find, or even if you do the more accurate chemical testing and that sort of stuff, you will find that it's very rarely at 9995. It's always, 995. It's always far higher than that.
Yeah, just give themselves a little buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So, we got some more questions?
New sovereign.
Oh, the Sov. Here we go. Let's have the fight.
How about it? 2022 British Royal Mint.
Yeah.
New sovereign design.
So have you thrown up the image? Yeah, okay. So we've thrown up the image. Matt loves this, don't you? Tell us why you love it, mate.
I think the lion looks emaciated.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there is an explanation for that. It's, it'll have an historic significance associated with it, but I just think the lion looks a bit strange. And because I imagine they're Queen's beasts, the two animals on there. I haven't looked into the significance where they fall into her story. I imagine they're significant because it's her platinum jubilee. So do you not see an opening for the first ever platinum sovereign? Does that not make sense?
You're an ideas man.
I tell you.
It's not just the holiday house at Bonnie Doon. You are an ideas man.
Yeah. It seems like a walk-up start.
Yeah, it does. I totally agree.
Do your first platinum sovereign for the platinum jubilee. But I'm sure it'll be highly sought after. I think it'll become an instant collector's item, particularly, knock on wood, if something should happen to the Queen in the near future, this will be even more significant. But as far as departures from the conventional St. George and Dragon design, meh.
Yeah. Look, I've got to admit, I actually prefer the St. George and the Dragon design, particularly the unicorn on this one. Is it a unicorn or a horse? I can never remember.
He's got a little horn.
It is the unicorn. Yeah. The collar around it, it looks like a crown that slipped off its head and fallen around.
Oh, is it a collar? I thought it was a crown that had...
No. It's a collar because there's a chain coming off it and it's actually chained up.
I see.
But yeah, I think both that design and the emaciated lion, I'm pretty sure that is traditionally what was on their coat of arms.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's a hark back to the original.
Yep.
But I tend to agree with you. I think it doesn't pop. I think the St. George, I think a modern, and I think you suggested this a couple of weeks ago, a more modernisation of the St. George and the Dragon would have been far better than what they've actually done there.
Yep. And if anyone's interested in going down the rabbit hole, I think the most impressive new take on that was 2012. You might be familiar with. In 2012, they did a new design, and it was a different style of the St. George and the Dragon, and actually had St. George with his lance or sword going through the dragon. Yeah, it looked really... I didn't love it as a design, but just in terms of something fresh, a new take on it, I thought it was really, really clever, really well done.
Do you find this one, the 2022, do you find it harks back to the Shield sovereign?
Yeah, to a degree, but not enough to, stir up any feelings for me. I see where they're going with it, and I think anyone presented with the task of redesigning a sovereign, you're playing with fire. People are always going to get bent out of shape, even if you hit it out of the park. But I just felt like maybe a few more revisions, and that could have been much nicer.
It does look a little. I think you made the comment. It looks a bit rough and ready type of thing, and I think it does.
It just looks like it hasn't quite been tweaked to the point where I would say it's ready to go out to press.
Yeah.
But maybe he was on a time budget. Who knows?
Fair enough. Jono S. Why do you think platinum price is cheaper than palladium?
I don't know. You tell
Don't
me.
you?
Oh,
Yeah, it's because they're both industrial metals. Platinum and palladium and rhodium to a degree are very interchangeable.
Oh.
So when platinum was at $3,000 Australian something an ounce, palladium was like $900 to $1,000 an ounce. So a lot of the industrial demand at that point went, why the heck are we paying 3 times as much for platinum when we could just slide in palladium? So a lot of particularly car manufacturers and things like that converted their platinum catalytic converters.
Everyone with mic noises, apparently.
Sorry.
Is this me? I'm trying to be like a statue.
So the platinum catalytic converters were changed over to palladium ones, which is what, until fairly recently, the majority of them have been. And that's actually part of the reason why there was such an overhang of platinum in the market, because palladium was now then taken up. And you can see the price, they cross over, where platinum came down and palladium went up to where platinum used to be, and platinum came down to where palladium used to be.
With a lot of car manufacturers shifting into an electric vehicle arena, will they still? I'll be honest with everyone. I don't know what a catalytic converter is. Do you still have one in an electric car?
No, you do not.
So will there potentially be a reduced demand for it?
No, an increased demand, because there's a lot of other components particularly in the battery side of electric vehicles, uses platinum. So it will actually increase demand for platinum.
Oh.
So that's one of the arguments. But again, if it gets too expensive, you'll find they'll start converting it over to palladium.
Okay.
So a lot of your space race type things. They use platinum and to a degree palladium in those as well. And obviously that's where rhodium starts to get into its own, because at $20,000 an ounce, when you're going to Mars, you don't tend to care if it's costing you $20,000 an ounce. You just want the best thing for the job.
Elon can spare it. Yeah.
That's the rumor. So apparently Mark Zuckerberg can't spare it at the moment though.
Oh yeah, he's having a bit of a rough trot, the poor little fella.
Lost 26 billion or something last night.
He'll be all right.
So, yeah. Do we ever carry palladium? I picked some up when spot dipped below gold. Yes, we do carry palladium, although very small amounts. Palladium's not I've got to be really careful here. Palladium's not the most fantastic investment in Australia because it's not considered an investment metal. Therefore, the government / ATO have decided that it incurs GST. So you've automatically got a 10% increase in price purely because of that. So, it's both palladium and rhodium in Australia. They're a bit iffy as far as investments go because of that GST component.
Very interesting.
There was one from a while ago. I'm not sure if we covered it, but basically asking if they'd done much else Perth Mint in the collector coins with any kind of previous golden age kind of movie star kind of things like your John Wayne. They touched it a little
Charlie
bit
Chaplin.
with the James Bonds as well. I know kind of
James Bonds. They've done the Sean Connery they did for his anniversary there. That was hugely popular.
Yeah. They should do a Three Stooges. That'd be good. As far as I'm aware, they haven't done that.
Someone's done I thought someone had done the Three Stooges. I might stand corrected on that. There have been a few that have been done, and none of them are coming to mind at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, they did. Well, they did things like Gone with the Wind,
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, but that wasn't so much a celebration of a character as much as a film.
Yeah,
or an actor as much as a film.
Yeah.
But there have been some that they've done. I'll have to get the LCS people to tell us, and they'll work it out. I must be coming in halfway through a conversation there because I'm not understanding where they're going with it, so that's okay. I'll do another email. 50th birthday. Here we go. This is from John. Hi guys. Firstly, I want to say how much I love coming into your store. Staff are such a pleasure to deal with. You are incredibly more than welcome. My brother and I were in the store first thing this morning. Just a query, my brother Adam will soon celebrate his 50th birthday. I was in your store to purchase his present. I hope he's not watching this, otherwise he probably knows what you just bought him. I was wondering, can you give him a shout out on your next live stream? He watches them religiously. I look forward to hearing about the bargains he's gotten. If you give Adam a happy birthday, he would be absolutely stoked. So, happy birthday, Adam. I'd sing you the happy birthday song, but then we have to pay royalties. So we're not going to do that one.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, consider yourself sung to, but happy 50th birthday, mate. I'm joining you later on this year, and it's scaring me just a little.
Come on in, get your birthday hat.
Oh dear, good stuff. Lunar rotating bead tiger seems to be on pre-sale in some places. You know much about this one?
No, but the little charm one, with the little.
One. So they did the mouse and the ox, and
Yeah.
this year they're doing the tiger. It's proven very popular.
Yeah, they make for a great gift. Something a bit different.
Yeah,
And they present very well also
they do.
with the antiqued silver finish.
I love the antiqued. I love the tiger. I love the way they've done the coin. The bead looks like the nose has been smacked in.
It has to. It's a bead. They're working with it's an interesting choice of having
Canvas.
having it as a circular shape. There's not a whole lot of room to put a tail on or a nose or ears.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, I suppose.
It is.
Are you able to pass over your mic, Michael?
That's mine, isn't it? Alright, hang on a sec.
I'll try and fix it. Just talk extra loudly to Matt's for a while.
Exactly. Get the tech team on the job.
We're just about wrapping up, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty. Just get locked. Oh, this is a good one. This is another one about. I'm hoping you can hear me. This is another one about the unallocated, and I thought this would be a great question. Quick question. So I set up my unallocated, then I get hit by the proverbial bus. Does the account just get locked and waits probate, etc., to be released? I'm assuming it works like that. And he goes on to a few personal things, so I'm not going to read that part of it. This is the same as your allocated program as well as your unallocated. You'll find that if no one is mentioned on the account, we are legally required to sit on it until someone can act on behalf of the estate. So whether that be one of the trustees or whether that be the solicitor or anything along those, or executors, more than trustees, the executors of the estate, we can then release it to those that person by proof of death certificate and the fact that they are an executor of the will or executor of the estate. If you can't do that, then absolutely it has to be locked up till probate. So if that's something you're concerned about, then you can either open the account in joint names, or you can make a note you can have us make a note on your file to say, I give permission to my wife, Betty, whatever, or, my husband, Bill, or, partner or friend, or whoever it is that you want. I give full permission for them under X circumstances or upon, presentation of a letter from my solicitor name, any of those types of things that allows us to legally then release the items to that person's control.
Perfect.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I've got two quick ones to go through, and then we might even look at wrapping it up if everyone's happy with that.
Yeah, now that you've resolved your microphone issue.
By not having a mic.
By not having a mic.
It sounds like, you got to boom in a voice for it to come through.
Yeah. So this is from Aussie. So Aussie lives in Japan, and I've actually got a couple of his photos. Ruben, if you're disappearing, I possibly need you. Oh, you're going to disappear, are you?
I was going to try to help.
Okay. We might have some technical issues. Look, we might even come back to these next week. We'll bring him in. Oh, go for it? Okay.
Yeah, this is live television. You got to roll with the punches.
So just wanted to give a shout out to Matt for helping with my first purchase of 2022. The silver 5 and 10 ounce bars are great. Thanks to the dispatch department for packing them. But my dilemma now is that the 10 ounce bar is too big for my DIY stacking unit. And I just wanted to highlight these two pictures because if you made these yourself, mate, these are flaming brilliant. You've done a sensational job on them. And if you want to make some, you can send them to us, and we'll put them up for sale.
Yeah.
They look brilliant. So, and then the last question I had on the email was, can you tell me if locally produced, Australian produced products, so we're talking Perth Mint, ABC, etc., is affected by the US Australian dollar fluctuating cash rate? Because it's produced in this country, most likely sourced from Australian gold and silver. Unfortunately, it is, because all gold, even locally produced gold as a rule, is still priced in US dollars. Because we all know we can sell it into the US market and all those types of things, I guess, at the end of the day. But if the Australian US dollar ratio changes, it will change in local terms, even for locally produced products as well. So absolutely, it will always be impacted and affected by that. So we really need to do a burst on that, because it is probably the hidden thing for this year that's going to impact on our pricing. I think we need to wrap it up, mate.
I think we do. We could go on all day.
Yeah, we frequently do.
Same time next week.
So that's right. So join us next week, which will be the 11th of February at 2:30 Australian Daylight Savings Time, or Eastern Daylight Savings Time. You'll have myself and Matt, and maybe one or two of the others will pitch in.
Yeah.
And we'll talk general rubbish and bullion.
Do a
again.
Special.
We'll do a special.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah. Look out for the boys are pushing to do some different things on the live stream. Sorry, not just on the live stream, on the channel as well. So look out for maybe some treasure hunts around Melbourne, maybe some different locations.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing a bit of an unboxing somewhere and things like that. So keep an eye on the channel. You're going to see a few differences coming through over the next few weeks.
Yep, change is good as a holiday.
That's the one. So like, share, subscribe. And that's it from me.
And from me.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.